Well, the heated debate over gun control is about to get underway on Capitol Hill this week. The Senate set to hold its first congressional hearing on gun violence since last month's deadly shooting in Newtown, Connecticut. Brand new hour starting now with that in America's Newsroom. Morning again, everybody. I'm Martha MacCallum.
And I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning. Some parents of some of those little victims speaking out on the issue, and it was powerful and emotional testimony at this hearing.
He was my son, he was my buddy, he was my best friend. And I never thought I'd be here speaking like this, asking for changes and on my son's behalf.
There were disagreements during this hearing, too. Not everyone felt that more gun laws will provide the answers that America is looking for on this issue. Listen here.
When I was about James's age, he was 6. Let me change the subject for a moment. Is one more law? I don't care if you named it James's Law. I don't want it. I want responsible legislation. It needs to be simple. It needs to be enforced.
If that doesn't tell the tale of both sides of this discussion, I don't know what does, really. And I'm joined now by Larry Pratt, who is Executive Director of Gun Owners of America. Larry, welcome. Good morning and welcome back to the show.
Hi, Martha. Good to be with you.
What's your reaction when you hear those parents?
Well, as a grandfather who lost a little grandson, my heart goes out to them all the more, and I can tell them that the pain never goes away. It's going to be there. When you lose somebody that young, you just ask why, and there's really no good answer.
So true. So, you know, they both take different sides of this. You know, I can completely understand both of their perspectives, you know. So what, you know, obviously you would be more on the side of Mr. Mattioli, who went second, who believes that there are gun laws on the books that are the strongest thing that we can do. You know, what would you do to sort of calm his fears, right, to insist that you will do everything in your power as one of these outspoken people on this issue to make sure that those gun laws are enforced that are on the books?
Well, one of the things that hit me right away when I heard this horrible news is that here we go again, a law that says no guns in a particular area, a gun-free zone, was once again a factor in what happened in this tragedy. I don't think it's a mistake that all of the mass murders that we've experienced over the last 20 years have occurred in gun-free zones, and all but one of them legally enforced gun-free zones. That ought to tell us something, that we're not making ourselves safe when nobody's around to protect anybody with a gun. This guy committed suicide and stopped the massacre when he heard the cops coming. So when a good guy with a gun comes, that's when the bad guy with a gun stops.
Yeah. I mean, that point is indisputable. And I think people, sort of come to this discussion with many different things in their background, but that point is indisputable, that the thing that stopped that massacre was when he saw those police coming towards him with a gun, and that was when he took his own life. But just going back to my question, are there laws on the books regarding guns that you feel are good and need to be more strongly enforced?
No, actually, I think the contrary. We have a gun-free school zone law, and that is a major factor, a common element in these mass murders. So if we're going to make some changes, we at Gun Owners of America very much from our heart plea to the legislators, get rid of this law. It has been lethal. Nothing good has come from gun-free school zones, only tragedy.
Larry Pratt, it's an emotional subject, and we thank you very much for speaking with us today. Good to have you here,
Thanks,
sir.
Martha.
And Mr. Mattioli, he lost his 6-year-old son, as he was referencing during that hearing. And the more you listen to that, it really just draws you into what he's going through and the strength he showed to deliver that, too.
Absolutely.
More detailed information now on some of the background checks. Central point in this debate, December of last year, checks for firearms spiked to a record 2.7 million. That was a 49% increase over the year previous. And 2012 was a record year with 19.5 million background checks. There were twice as many checks for firearms between November and December during the same time period in the previous year.